bead there, a couple of beads there. This is my bracket to hold the accumulator in. Alright, total weld porn, but I'm pretty happy with that. Now I've just got to get in there and let it cool down. Drill some holes in there so I can put some nutsets under it. And she's strong. Pretty boring. So I've decided to build a tradie rack for the back of the ute because it is a ute. And gonna do that so I can carry stuff around on it. No, just kidding. This is actually me sort of having a think out loud about building a tonneau cover for this. So I've just got a bunch of this really super lightweight, I think it's 1.6mm, 25 by 25. And rather than going crazy and welding it all, it'll have brackets under it to support it and probably a couple of braces that way. And then in here I'll have to slot it to go around the backstay bars, so the front here won't actually be there. It'll be able to slot it all the way in, and then on top it'll probably just be a sheet of Aluka Bond, which is super easy to work with, comes coloured, and then we can vinyl wrap it or whatever anyway. So that's kind of where I'm looking at the moment. Got a bit of tape there so I don't scratch up the thing. Yeah, I'm going to whiz over and use a nice aluminium cutting saw at Cam's workshop there because it'll cut them all nice and straight. I've made my little marks as to where I want everything cut lengthwise. Probably being a little bit generous, but the main thing is too with this Falcon and these Fords is the side of them is definitely not straight, so the car kind of curves along the edge. And because I'm not really worried about these following that line, if I was going a hot rod style I would, but because it's going to have a sheet over the top anyway, I'll just have to basically make sure that the sheet fits it. So once the time comes, I should be able to lay the sheet on top of it and then basically draw a line around it and trim it all nice and neat. And I want it to sort of sit flush, so this will sit, these are 25mm, so this will sit down like 27mm or something like that. So there we go. Cool. Alright. Okay. Update time again. I've been ripping in with the TIG here. Got the fuel tank sitting in here. Unfortunately I made a dum-dum and put that in there, which is evenly spaced between there and there, but I forgot that I hadn't put the tank in and checked it yet, so only human. Thankfully it's only got a small weld on the back of it, so I'll just snip that and start again, and it worked out that that's going to go there. And speaking to Jamie from Raceworks, I'm going to be putting what's called a dog bowl. Well, I guess it's like a bowl that goes in there. It's basically an anti-spill setup, and then I may actually just put a big hole in the top of the tonneau there, or just have it there underneath, but it still needs clearance because it's probably about halfway up the height of that under the tonneau cover. So yeah, all good and well. It's also height wise nicely, it should sit there, so I can actually put a bit of foam on the underside of the tonneau cover so it rests on that, so that when any wind or anything like that, the turbulence is going to stop it from bouncing. It should be well secured anyway, but got this sort of mostly in here, just some, you know, a couple of average dodgy boxer welds there, but they're all going to get smoothed out anyway. Just working on the front framework here, obviously because it's got the backstay bars, it's got to come around here, and then another two bits along here, and then some braces in there, and then probably 3 or 4 small hinges across the back there, just some nice little flush mount ones I grabbed. Other than that, yeah, just getting this done. I did grab this the other day, which and this is absolutely not a sponsor plug at all, because I've never had anything from Milwaukee sponsorship wise, and I would love it, but no, big shout out to Milwaukee because they do really cool stuff. This is a sander polisher, and I've got like a Scotch-Brite wheel on here, so I'm basically just, yeah, so anyone who's a welder or of aluminium welding capacity that knows 2 cents worth, and I know 1 cent worth, but yeah, cleaning your surfaces, and then also on top of that using either acetone, metho, brake clean. I have been actually using this here, which is just IPA, it's isopropyl alcohol, just to clean these surfaces off, and then grabbing a clean rag and just wiping them clean just to remove any contaminants. And then on top of that also I spray a little bit of IPA on the rag itself, so there's a little bit of dirt and grime in there, bit of on the rag there, and actually wipe off the filler wire as well, just make sure there's no contaminants there, just in case I've picked it up with my hand with the other end. So gonna get in here, put a little weld here and here, now I've touched that again, and then do on the same on the other side, flip it over, snip this out, and then start working on the front end of it and So hopefully by the end of the day I'll have this mostly done, and then I'm going to be working on the tailgate, which is over there. It's actually just a, you know, straight aftermarket replacement tailgate, which I think is actually from like Thailand or something. It's bloody heavy because it's a full tailgate, so pretty much just going to cut the guts out of it and just have it as a skin. And then at that point I've got to work out how to hang it off the back, so I might just use some Zeus fasteners across the back or something like that. And then I've also got to make a hole in it for the parachute anchor, and then a little hole also for the stalk with the actual parachute. I could mount the parachute straight off the tailgate, then that puts a fair bit of load when the parachute spring goes off, so it might actually dent it. So that's already there, so I just poke a little hole through it, exactly where it needs to go, and then that comes through there. So bit of progress. I haven't been filming too much of my welding because I found that sometimes when I'm welding I kind of do worse welding because maybe the pressure's on or something like that, but we'll see how we go. But this here is all very thin aluminium too, so if anyone's worried about me adding weight to the ute, it's not. It's super lightweight, this whole setup, so yeah, it's going to be pretty good. Very cool. Powering on, quick update. I had started to do a time lapse and I swear I have welding stage fright, because as soon as I turn on the bloody camera the welds go to crap. As soon as I turn it off things aren't too bad, so not too bad here and there. These are ones from yesterday actually, but little beads here and there, they're going to get flattened out anyway because they've got a cover on them. But I've basically got two little hinges in here. I've got everything clamped so it's all straight, all the gaps are right, and just the edges I've got to clean up here and there, but it's all pretty much in there. So right now I'm at the point where I'm going to take it out again because I've marked up these little hinges here, and I'm going to mark them up and put other hinges in there. I'm only going to be using M5 bolts in there because there's not a lot of weight, and I'm probably going to end up running 4 hinges anyway, so 8 bolts at M5 is still going to hold all of that, plus there'll be Zeus fasteners, everything like that. But not the sexiest welds, but yeah, like I said, they're going to have to get whiz flat anyway, so, and they'll get welded all around once I get a chance to set it on the floor and set it flat. Before I do that though, I'm going to actually snip these 2 welds on this one just so I can do what I was saying before and move this bar back to here. Depending, I might even move it back further than there, but just so I can do that, because I'd love to actually have it so that we could literally just either lean over the back into there or just pop it up, and yeah, we'll see how we go. But it still needs clearance anyway because the dog bowl thing's going to hit this otherwise, so move it back, give it some clearance, and then happy days. Hey. Clamps. Ah crap, this battery's only got 7% in it. Alright, so there's a whole lot of tailgate bits. Skip ahead because it was just noisy and annoying. Hopefully I don't drop this, but the tailgate is now a floppy skin, and it's got no guts in it, but it does have like a lip around it just so it holds a bit of integrity. I've measured across the tailgate now, just get this sitting back on here. I found the middle section there and there, matched that on the calf, measured. So when I find the middle of something, I don't normally just measure it and then find the halfway mark and tape measure. I'll measure it, and that's 691 from there to there, but then I measure it 691 from there to there as well, so that you know that that distance and that distance are identical anyway. And then brought that down, did the same measurement there. Don't know whether I'm going to fix these notches here. It is a race car, but this is the notch where the factory tailgate hinge goes. Obviously it doesn't have that anymore. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a hole saw, put a hole here, and then measure a slot down there. See how we go with the integrity of this. I might need to make it like a plate in there just so that it sort of stiffens up the bottom of the tailgate so it doesn't flop around and kink up the middle. But it should be pretty good. But I'm going to rip into here, put a hole through there. I might have to move it because that is sitting right on the panel stand, so I'll probably drill a hole through the panel stand. But yeah, it should be alright. So let's do it with my 4% battery. Okay, that is done, bar a bit of whizzing down the welds on top and a few of the not perfect ones on there, and I wouldn't say all of them are perfect, but I'm getting there. See if we can get this to focus a bit better, Mr. GoPro. And I whizzed that one down there because I had a bar across that to mount this bar in there, so that follows that line there. And that's all in. Just got to, because the front edge of this, and that's the tricky part, is not flat. That tapers in, of course it does, forward. Everything's got a curve to it, even though this car's square everywhere. So the front edge has got a curve to it, so if you put the hinges hard up against there and hard up against there, when you bring it up it's going to bind. So obviously you've got to make that front edge flat. So these ones are bolted up on the outside, and then the inside ones here I've got to make a spacer of about, I don't know, 3 mil or something like that, so that when it lifts up evenly. So it'll just be a spacer that's the same size as the hinge base there. So that's all in and on. You're probably wondering why I've got these taped on here, is because I've got the tailgate, and I had that sitting there. I've notched out the bottom of the tailgate so it sits over the parachute anchor here, and I've taped a bit of angle aluminium on there just to lift it up so it's in the right spot. And then these are here to sit the tailgate up against. What I've just done now is went to Robbie's workshop before. I used his sheet metal bender and had some offcuts of some nice thick aluminum or however the hell you want to say it. So I've got these 2 tab brackets here which sit here against the bottom edge of the tailgate. As you can see too, this tailgate is just the skin now. So basically it's normally got all the structure and stuff built in there, and a big frame here and framework and everything like that in it, so it's a tailgate so they can stand on it and everything like that. But now it's just the skin and it doesn't weigh much at all, so that's pretty good. So I've got all this sitting here on the panel stand, and I'm just about to pop some holes through here and here, and then basically I can work out exactly what's going on with this, and probably put some clecos in here or something like that just to hold it in place, and then sit it up against the car. And the plan is for these to have sort of like 1, 2, 3 holes in them or something like that, and then that'll nutsert up against the back of the car. So because the tailgate's probably not going to have to come off too often, and yeah, not really wanting to Zeus fasten it or anything like that, so it needs to have a little bit of strength on it. And then after that I need to order a wing for this, so got to get on to doing that tomorrow, but get this hopefully sitting in place tonight, and then work out how I'm going to fasten the top of it, be it whether or not the wing and the tonneau lid are part of the fastening setup. So good progress with that, and really happy with this. But that is all swinging and doesn't weigh anything at all. It's literally like I can lift that up with my little finger. So without, you know, if that was heavy I'd be breaking my little finger off now. Look at the angle of that. Obviously adding a little bit of weight to the car, but I think weight versus aerodynamics. And the cool thing is too, is that's going to clear the fuel tank perfectly, and if I wanted to I could actually pop a hole in the top of this so I can access the fuel tank. So I may still do that yet, I'm not sure. It'd be cool if I could actually cut a hole out of it and put like a little trapdoor thing like that, but we'll see how we go. I like the clean look, because that way then it's just a nice clean top skin, and the goal is for it to sort of finish not overlapping, but just finish like up against the gap there, and that way I can either put a rubber strip on it, or if it just looks right then we'll just leave it. Good progress. And not sure whether I should wrap up this video, because actually quick one, and well, another update here as well is I had Robbie redo these, which disappointingly the last guy didn't listen to me and did them wrong, so that's all nicely beautifully welded straight to the tank there now. The other one here, which was like sticking out and then on a weird angle down so that the dash fitting was hitting the bloody cross member, that's been cut off again and then welded much nicer onto here and further back in, which is all good. And then update through here, I've fixed up the intake as best as I can, got rid of all those daggy disgusting welds on the inside of it, and also bead blasted it. So that's there. Shout out to Turbo Guard Australia, I've got this here, so that will go on there up under the guard. Obviously Turbo Guard, This one here is just to stop birds and rocks and big stuff. It's not really going to filter anything, but you know, potentially that could save your engine if you're in the dyno room or something like that, and a piece of rag decides to make its way into the turbo or something like that that's sort of blowing around. There's a lot of airflow in the dyno room. But finally, what I'm going to mention is this is just the case here, but all the bits are sitting at MV Automatics ready to go. So hopefully I'll drop this into Mike pretty soon and we'll start building this up. Just need it in the car. Don't know if I'll use this pan yet. This was just a second-hand one that was sitting around just to make it look like a complete trans. But I am selling my other Turbo 400. It has been fully rebuilt by Mike. It really didn't have much mileage on it anyway, but he's been right through it. Changed a few things, updated a few things, and it is basically a brand new transmission again. So that is up for sale. I've got it on Facebook Marketplace as well. And because it's an MV Automatics transmission, it's bloody awesome. So that will come with a B&M shifter, comes with the Barra bell housing, comes with the drive plate and the converter, which is a TCE converter. So if you're building like a super hot street car or like a 9-second drag car or something like that, then it's probably perfect for what you need. And considering they're impossible to get at the moment and the waiting periods are bloody ages, first come first serve. If you snooze you lose. Anyway, yeah, lots going on as usual. The place is a bloody disaster just because I think I've just literally run out of space in here. That's my problem. I keep making a mess and then coming back. This thing is looking freaking amazing. Got the tank on now, got it full of fuel, fired it up today. Extremely happy with this thing, and yeah, bike update coming soon. But as always, big thanks to World Class. Have some cool designs coming now because World Class have changed their logo, so I'm going to be putting a cool sticker on these. But yeah, big thanks to them. Big thanks from me. Have fun. See you in the next one.